interpretation of lean. If you ask people what lean is, they'll say it's just in time and it's eliminating muda. And then, you know, the other 12 principles of the Toyota way they don't know. But they know it's just in time and they know it's eliminating muda. Is the Toyota way about reflection? This was actually one of the great learnings I had in putting this talk together. And you might guess what fine Japanese word I will use for reflection here as part of the Toyota way. And last, of course, is continuous improvement. This is a word that has very easily made its way into the English language. Everyone in the industry in English-speaking countries knows what Kaizen is. Well, they know there is a word called Kaizen and that it means something important. I'm not sure they know what it is. So I'm going to compare these two value systems. So let's put them side by side. And I'm going to draw some quotes here. And you can look in Japanese here to see maybe more clearly what these are. So on the left is the pattern community, on the right is lean. Let's compare these two. So Alexander says, we may regard a pattern as an empirically grounded imperative which states the preconditions for healthy individual and social life in a community. So Alexander's goal here is healthy individual and social life in community. Alexander is interested in serving the community. Pattern languages build buildings that support healthy communities. They support what happens there. How about lean? So here's this quote from Fujio Cho. How many of you know who Fujio Cho is? Is this a household name in Japan? Oh, so you do not know. Oh, he's a cool guy in Toyota. Okay. Since Toyota's founding, we have adhered to the core principle of contributing to society through the practice of manufacturing high-quality products and services. And so again, it's contributing to the community. The core principle of contributing to society. So we find both of these value systems are about contributing to the community. But it's not only contributing to the community, it's also about involving the community in your work. And so, in the pattern world, Alexander says, we have what is called the principle of participation. All decisions about what to build and how to build it will be in the hands of the users. Now think about this as software people, as writing patterns. Are the decisions of what to build and how to build it in the hands of the users? Are we concerned about our users' mental models? Alexander says, this is from the Oregon experiment, from chapter 2. How about in lean, in the Toyota way? Neborashi is the process of discussing problems and potential solutions with all of those affected to collect their ideas and to get agreement. So again, there's a social process between the workers in order to understand what processes we're going to use, how to implement Kaizen, and how to shape the processes that are going to make an effective work environment. So it's not only affecting the community and contributing to the community, it's making the community part of the team. So there is no us and them anymore in patterns. There is no us and them anymore in lean. They are just people along a value stream. And the whole value stream is the system, all the way out to the end user. So we find these two values are very, very close. And we have this unified value of community. How about decision making? Well, Alexander says piecemeal growth is based on the assumption that adaptation between buildings and their users is necessarily a slow and continuous business, which cannot, under any circumstances, be achieved in a single leap. And this concept of Nemawashi, which Leiker talks about in the Toyota Way, and which is a deep part of the Toyota Way, says, the most important success, this is a quote again, this is from Robert McCurry, who was a former executive vice president of Toyota Motor Sales. And this is from the book, The Toyota Way, by Leiker. The most important factors for success are patience, a focus on long-term rather than short-term reinvestment in people, product, and plant, the gemba, and an unforgiving commitment to quality. So in both of these, we find this notion of making slow, deliberate decisions. And so this isn't reacting to change. Ooh, does this term reacting to change sound familiar? We'll come back to agile later. So both lean and patterns are about slow decisions. And so these two values, the slow decisions and nemawashi, I'm going to put together into a value we call deliberation. And this has two senses in English. One is careful thought, and the other is deliberate thought. Have you heard Mary Poppendick talking about deliberate practice? Wonderful, wonderful talk that she gives about deliberately practicing things in order to become better at them. So I like this word deliberation. How about experience? We're all software people. It has to be new to be cool, right? I mean, is anyone here programming in Fortran? I mean, is that because Fortran is bad? Would anyone know whether Fortran was bad? In fact, you don't care. What you care about is that it is not new, and therefore it must be bad. And so we value novelty in our industry. The pattern community does not value novelty, and in fact, a lot of people accuse Alexander of being a Luddite. How do you translate? Luddite. Is there a good Japanese word for that? A Luddite, it's a person who is afraid of technology or does not believe technology has value. Someone who's very, very, do you have a good word? Okay.
It's called by same name.
Okay, same name, yeah. Alexander says, no, we're not interested in the new things. There is one timeless way of building. And it's been the same today as it always has been. There's nothing new under the sun. The Toyota Way uses only reliable, thoroughly tested technology that serves your people and your processes. So both of these are looking to the past to gain great ideas rather than looking to the great idea you had in the shower last night. Because the past has proven itself over years or decades or centuries. And so again, we find these two communities both value experience. Alexander was accused of being a socialist or maybe even a communist when he was in Berkeley, because he said what the community should do is the community should have a communal lumber yard or a communal store where anyone could go and they could buy building materials or get building materials for free as long as they had a permit from the city board. And the city board would plan all of the building once a year. And then if the board approved your plan, then you could add to your house. And the materials were free. And this is what would allow you to build houses at very low cost. You would build them just in time. And so you would not have to take out a mortgage to build a big house that you could not afford. Anyone here own a house? You bought a house in the past 5 years? And of course you try to buy a house that's just a little more expensive than you can afford. Because you hope to be making a little more money in 5 years. And so this is very common in the United States. You'll see people who buy big houses and there's no curtains in the windows because They do not buy curtains.